What's going on, guys? A year of no videos, now he's cranking them out every day. That's what happens when you're a high school teacher whose school is closed indefinitely and practicing good social distancing practices. I've had a ton of people ask in comments about my lighting schedule. So I thought I would do a quick rundown of what my programming for the Kessils is, and shout out to Mile High Reefers. He just posted last night a video on his Kessil T5 hybrid lighting. His is a little bit different. He's using two A360s to supplement the lighting on his tank. I am not. Because the tank sits in the living room, as you can see, it divides our kitchen from our living room. I can give you a full walk around here. I've tried to keep the lighting as clean looking as possible. I had a hood on here at one point, sort of a floating hood, that I ditched in lieu of just this because I just wanted something that's as unobtrusive as possible so that when you're standing in the kitchen, you can see the TV, which sits up here above the fireplace, without obstruction. So this light fixture is pretty thin with the A1 or the A360-X's, which are pretty low profile as well. They're screwed. I drilled holes in the top of this T5 fixture and just ran a threaded bolt into the top of the Kessil. So they sit maybe about an inch and a half below this T5 fixture. It was a metal halide T5 fixture that I gutted all the metal halide components out of and just run the Kessils in their place. So the T5s just came on. It's 10:06 in the morning when I'm recording this. So the T5s just popped on. There's two, I want to say there's two ATI Blue Pluses and two ATI Coral Pluses, I think. So two blue lights and two daylights. I actually think I'm going to go back to 4 ATI Blue Pluses when I do a bulb swap. The tank is just a little bit too white for my tastes. I like it just a little bit bluer, and I know that there's a lot of commercial coral distributors who use just exclusively actinic T5 bulbs for supplements, and I think that's the direction I'm going to go as well. I've done it before, and I was like, I'll try something new, and I just don't like it as much. The coral does fine under the blue lights. LPS is popping. Everything is growing well. Like I mentioned in my update the other day, I sold a bunch of big pieces of coral out of my frag tank in the basement, and in the process, the consumption of alkalinity dropped, and I continued to dose the same amount of alkalinity, and I was just too slow reacting to the shift, and there's no one to blame but myself. It's part of why I've considered getting a Trident. I did buy the new 2016 Apex, the bulk reef supply version, and so I'm set up for the Trident, and it's kind of on the list of things down the road to look at, just so that I can be a little bit more proactive about. I mean, I do test my alkalinity daily, but just being able to have that 4 times a day, and then I can adjust dosing accordingly, just to avoid this situation again. I didn't lose a ton of coral, but like this bird's nest was like deep purple. It's like a light pink right now. It still looks like it's alive at this point, but there's definitely some of the corals took a hit, and there's no doubt about it. So I'll just be much more careful in the future when I make a drastic shift like that. So real quick, to show you all the electronics sit here on the back of the tank, to show you my lighting schedule. Come on, there we go. It comes on at 5 a.m. and at 5 you can see 2% intensity, 2 for the violets, everything else is at 0. And then at 8 o'clock, 50% intensity, still very blue, 27 violet, 1 red. It's a nice deep blue purple color at 8 in the morning. I'm usually at work anyways. And then 10, we've ramped up to much more intensity, starting to add some of the white light, a little bit of green and red. And then the real peak is from 12, where you can see I'm full intensity, 31 color. And here's what the tank would look like at that point. This is what the light's on there. So very bright, very white light. And then 4 o'clock, same, essentially the same peak. Here's sort of that 4 o'clock bright light peak. It's a very crisp, I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up, but it's a very crisp, very bright white look to the tank. Corals are looking, very daylight at least from my eyes. I'm not sure how the camera is getting it. Everything always looks a little bit bluer when I upload it. And then at 6 o'clock, we're starting to ramp back down. And obviously this is with the T5s on, which will be off at 4 o'clock. T5s go from 10 to 4, so a 6 hour, and then at 8 p.m., starting to really ramp back down, and then everything is off at 10. So somewhat similar to, yes, we can say, but I didn't make any changes. Somewhat similar to what Mile High Reefers had posted yesterday. Yeah, it's a long light cycle, but it's a lot of ramping up and ramping down. I get up early, I teach, so I'm up at about 5. I like the tank to be, starting to really lightly wake up in the morning, and then if we're in the living room at night, it's nice to have a real, just a bluish evening. I don't know what it does as far as for the corals, but that's more for me in viewing. So there's the lighting schedule. Just in the last 3 days, I've done a water change up here, 20-gallon water change up here. No, that's not true. A 35-gallon water change up here, 7 5-gallon buckets came out of here, just cleaning the sand bed, just a deep, thorough cleaning. I vacuumed the sand with a gravel vacuum. And then 20-gallon water change downstairs in the 420, which I can update you guys on. Obviously, I'm home, so later this week maybe, or next week. And then I did a 20-gallon water change on the frag tank today, just cleaning out as much of the detritus and whatnot out of there, and some of the junk that was in the refugium. So lots of time on my hands. Please feel free to hit me with questions, comments, any videos you'd like to see. I've got time, so you'll probably be seeing more of these. All right, talk to you guys later.